Good afternoon to one and all. Yesterday we will see the concept of mutually exclusive events and some problems on the mutually exclusive events. Now let's see some events that will be the simple event. Simple event means an event in a trial that cannot be further split. This simple event is also said to be the elementary event. The perfect example for this simple event be the coin. If you tossing a coin, the final output will may be head or tail, and both will not be happen simultaneously, as both head and both tail will not be happen. This will be the perfect example for the simple event. And next we will see the sample space. Sample space. What is meant by sample space? The number of events in a trial is said to be the sample space. Set of all possible outcomes in a trial is called sample space. In the another way, if you want to take the total number of outcomes in an event of an experiment, is said to be the sample space. That means you simply, if you take in the Venn diagram point of view, this will be the sample space and this will be the event E, and here in this event E, whole experiment will be done in the event E by means of this sample space. The best example for the sample space, if you toss a coin, what will be the chances of probability for the sample space? For one coin, head or tail, right? For one coin. Similarly, if you take two coins, what will be the sample space? The sample space will be the whether it may be head head or head tail head, and next tail. Similarly, if you roll a dice once, what will be the chance of probability of a sample space? That will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a single die. Similarly, if you roll a dice twice, that means if you take the dice, two dice, what will the sample space? If you take the two dice, sample space will be the 1, 1, 2, up to so on, here 1, 6. Similarly, this will be the 2, 1, 2, 2, this will be so on up to the 2, 6. How much it will be get extended? Up to the 6, right? This will become the 6, 1, 6, 2, to so on 6, 6. This will be the sample space of an events in a random experiment. Next, You already know, you can clearly observe from this Venn diagram, E will be the subset of S, right? The main key point in this sample space, that will be the E be the subset of S. Please write it down. Actually, before I only explained these concepts in the first class of a sample space, but some audio problem, you can't get this concept. So once again I will explain this concept, and next we will see the some events as well as how union and the intersection concepts will be arrived. Next, put the side heading, that will be the events. Let's take E be the event of a sample space. If you take that, let's see, A1, comma, A2, comma, A3 up to so on AN. This will be the samples point. Sample points in a sample space S. And if you take even as A1, comma, A8, comma, A3. This will be the E1. Similarly, if I take the E2, what will happen? A2, comma, A3, comma, A7, comma, A9. Okay, some randomly I will be take this A1, A3, A8 like that. Okay, let's find out what will be the union and what will be the intersection and what will be the some E1 minus E2 and what will be the E2 minus E1. We can find out these things in this lecture. Then this concept has to be used in whenever you have solved the theorems. These concepts will play a crucial role, right? For example, if I want to solve E1 union E2, how I can solve this E1 union E2? Just simply write this E1 values and E2 values combinedly. Then it will become the E1 union E2. This will become the A1, comma, A2, comma, A3, comma, A7, comma, A8, comma, A9. This will be the E1 union E2. And hence, you have to write this E1 union E2 will be this will be the main point. You have to remember this. E1 occurs if E1 occurs or E2 occurs ORR both have the chance to occur. Put it some head marks. Both. Similarly, if you want to solve E1 intersection E2, what will happen? Second case, that will be the E1 intersection E2. Here, if you take the common part for the E1 intersection E2, what will happen? That will be the A3, right? Here we have only A3 will be common from E1 and E2. Only this will be common. Hence the answer will be the A3. And here E1 intersection E2, that will be stands for if E1 occurs and E2 occurs. You already know from your 10th standard and the 12th standard mathematics this intersection and the union very well. Now let's see another important, that will be this will be important for your theorems point of view. You already know this first and second intersection and union, that will be the E1 minus E2. What will happen? You can't directly solve this E1 minus E2. There will be some formula in terms of union and the intersection. This is also you can solve, but you can use it that union and the intersection formula. That will be very easy for you. Let's see, E1 minus E2 means formula E1 is equal to E1 minus E1 intersection E2. Here you already know what is meant by E1. E1 be the A1 comma A8 comma A3 minus E1 intersection E2 means you will get the A3, right? If you make the subtraction from E1 minus E2, this and this will get cancelled. What you will get the output? That will be the A1 comma A8. This will be your E1 minus E2. And similarly, put some star marks. Here what will happen to the E1 minus E2? What will happen to the E1 minus E2? If E1 occurs and E2 does not occur. Similarly, please solve that E2 minus E1. Here you can memorize this formula very much. Why? Because we can use this E1 is equal to E1 minus E1 intersection E2 in the theorems. When we solve the theorems, these proofs we can take it as an primary base. And next we'll take E2 minus E1. What will happen? Fourth case, that will be the E2 minus E1. Please solve this. Pause the video and solve this. E2 minus E1. Here also you will get another formula. That formula be the E2 is equal to E1 union E2 minus E1. This was the formula. And here you can see E1 be the so if you take E1 be the A1, A8 and A3. You already know if you want to write E2 means only E2 will be happen and E1 will not be happen. Where the subtraction terms will be there, you get cancelled to each other and you have to write the remaining terms. Then what will be the remaining terms? That will be the A2 comma A7 comma A9. Why? Because and A3 will get cancelled to each other. What will be the remaining terms in the E2? That will be the A2, A7 and A9. Whenever you take in the E2 minus E1, this E1 cannot be happen. Here you can see if you take the E1 minus E2, only E1 occurs and E2 does not occur. Here in this case, this will be the vice versa case. Here if you take the E2 minus E1, here E1 only occur and E2 only occur and E1 does not occur. Hence you will get the output that will be the A2, A7 and A9. Here A3 and A3 get cancelled to each other. Next, this will be the E2. And similarly, if you write E2 minus E1, that will be the if E2 occurs and E1 does not occur. This will be the important formulas for your theorems. Here, first formula, second formula, and this union and the intersection you already very well know in the 10th and 12th standard, right? And next we will see yesterday we will see some mutual exclusive events formula. P of E is equal to M divided by N. Now another formula also there. If you take the intersection, what will happen? Okay. Mutually exclusive events. Here, if you take the E1 be the sample space of an event E1 and another if you take the E2 be the event in a sample space. If you take the intersection between the E1 and E2, if there will be no common points between the E1 and the E2, then what will happen? It will be go to the null, right? E1 intersection E2, that will become the null. Why? Because how we can replicate this? There will be no common elements in between the E1 and E2, and hence these mutually exclusive events is also said to be the disjoint events. This is also said to be the disjoint events. This will be the important formula for your examination. And next we will see the complementary events. Let's see the complementary events. Here you have to concentrate on the main two formulas, that will be the E intersection E bar, that will be equal to the 5. If you take the sample space for this, if you take the union, then what will happen? If you take the union, it will become the sample space. Hence, E bar is equal to S minus E. These two formulas will be the important. That means if you take the complementary events, complementary means whether it may be one, you take the normal event, and next you will take the complementary event. First you have to check with the intersection, and in next case we have to check with the union case. For the intersection case, there will be no intersection between the E and E bar, then you will get the 5. This will be the null space. If you have the union between the E and the E bar, then you will get the sample space, that will be the S. How many variables will be there? That variables will be get onto this sample space S. This will be the important for the complementary events. And next you will see in the second lecture I will be tell about the axioms of probability. You already know, and once again I will be explain that axioms of probability. Simply that formulas, 3 axioms of probability will be there, and we will see some theorems. Axioms of probability. What will be the axioms of probability? There will be 3 axioms will be there. Axiom 1, axiom 2, and axiom 3. For the first axiom, that will be the P of E, that will be greater than or equal to 0, and E will be the sample space of E will be the subset of S. And the next axiom 2, that will be the P of S is equal to 1. P of S is equal to 1. And next, what will happen? If I take the E1 and E2 will be the disjoint sets. E1 and E2 be the disjoint sets. What will happen if you take the P of E1 union E2? That will be the P of E1 plus P of E2. These axioms I will be explained in the second class only. Just see that. Now let's solve some theorems. Based on wherever I put the star marks, that results we have to use to solve the theorems. Let's see. theorem. Just solve some theorems. In the next class we will solve all of the theorems. For this session I will just solve one theorem and we can conclude the session. Here, if the probability function defined by the power set of a sample space, then what they will be give? First, P is a probability function defined on the power set of sample space S. First, what they will be give? They will be given P of phi is equal to 0. And next, what you have to solve and prove? P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E. This was the questions. They will be asked. You have to solve this theorem. This will be the proof for this theorem. If you solve the first, P of phi is equal to 0. P of phi is equal to 0. So, you already know E union phi, that will be equal to E. If you union with the null space, you will get the event E. Similarly, if you take the intersection with the null space, there will be no intersection, means you have to get the only phi only, right? If you apply the probability of event for this, P of E, that will be equal to P of E union phi. You already know P of U union phi means from the axioms of probability, that will be the P of E plus P of phi. And here P of phi will become the 0. And hence P of phi will become the 0. Why? Because there will be no common terms. So this will be the P of phi will become the 0. And similarly, if you take the P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E. Can you observe? Can you anywhere see this formula? We can see this formula in the mutually exclusive events. That will be the P of E plus P of E bar is equal to 1. We have put their star marks also. Right? Here, if you solve this, similarly, if you take E union E bar, here you can apply the complementary function. What will be the complementary function? E union E bar is equal to S and E intersection E bar, that is equal to phi. This will be the complementary function. Let's see some probability. Apply the probability. P of S is equal to P of E union E bar. How you can write union? That will be equal to the P of E plus P of E bar. You already know from the axiom 2. Axiom 2, what they will say? Axiom 2. P of S is equal to 1. We have to use that axiom too. Just put P of S is equal to 1 here. What you will get? 1 is equal to P of E plus P of E bar. Here what they will be asked? P of E bar, right? Just put this P of E to the left hand side. What will become? 1 minus P of E, that will be equal to the P of E bar. This will be the proof for this theorem. P of phi is equal to 0 and P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E. Here you can observe this already we can see. Solved it, and this is also you can see in the complementary function, and use some axioms, and whatever in the next upcoming theorems you can see in the events you can solve some E2 minus E1 and E1 minus E2. We can use some formulas there. Also you can apply the furthermore in the theorems. In the next class we will try to complete all the theorems and as well as some problems. Thank you.